Namiji is a reimagining of the modern classic Tokaido. I played the game first at Gen Con 2022. They had a demo there. I played it with my kids. The game is short enough that we could play a full game, and we loved it. And so I was really excited. I was really, waiting for the full version to finally be available, and here it is. So I played the game again with my kids. So we played it with 2 players and 3 players, and well, our impressions were confirmed. This is a game that we really like. It is a light game, very much in the vein of Tokaido. You can think of this as Tokaido, but this time we go fishing in classic Japan, and we score in different ways, and we collect different things. So still we have this very pretty, very peaceful looking board, and this time we have little boats, and we'll be going around this track collecting stuff wherever it is that we stop, and also we follow the idea of Tokaido that the last person goes. Also, you can go on the track in either direction. You can go that way, all the way around here, or vice versa, so that changes things a little bit. And the idea of Tokaido is the same, that the last person goes first. They can go as far as they want. They will then interact with the space where they land, and then the last person goes, and the last person goes, and then the last person goes, and so on and so forth. And sometimes the last person may even go multiple times if they're still last. Collecting multiple types of advantages, and that's the idea that you're probably familiar with from Tokaido. Again, same kind of like light gameplay, in which probably you want to stop at every stop most of the time. Nothing wrong with that, but then there are times where you really want to collect something before somebody else gets there. If somebody sees that you really need a certain element to complete a set, then you may want to consider that. Now, so different things, there are different things that we're going to do depending on where we stop. Also, from time to time, we need to stop at a dock. Actually, let's look at the one that is down here, so it's a little closer. We need to stop at a dock. That means players cannot get past that kind of space. There are several on the board. So as we approach the area, again, you have to stop there. When you stop there, you can stop at any of these spaces that are still available. So the first player to get there has more choice. The idea is that if you stop closer to that space, you're gonna get better choice with some cards that are assigned at that time. And if you go further from there, you're gonna go earlier in the next phase. So when we reach that area, we take a number of cards from this deck, and then again the first player, or the closest to the dock itself, gets to choose, and then whatever they don't choose goes to the next player, who chooses one card and then gives these cards to the other player, and so on and so forth. So if you're the last player, you're gonna get not quite a choice as if you're the first. Some cards will just give you flat victory points, that's it. Some of the cards will give you advantages and bonuses, so probably early on it's good to try to get a good item so you can really enjoy it for long, and maybe later on you just want points, so that's how that works. As for other spaces that will give you, of course, different things. There are spaces where you can fish. When you fish, you can take a token from this pile here. There will always be at least one that is available already face up, and once you take one, you can flip another one face up. You can also choose to draw a blind instead. Once you get a fish, you need to place it on your personal board. Each player has one, which also has these fight tokens here that will give you penalties if they're not removed. So right now, if this one my board looks like at the end of the game, I'll have a penalty of -15. If that is removed, using actions, only -10 and only -6, and so on and so forth. So you're just trying to send out these little cute paper boats, I guess, just as for good luck. But we're talking about fishing. The first fish that you catch needs to go in the top left corner of that grid. Other fishes that you catch later need to be adjacent to previous fishes orthogonally. And what you're trying to do is to create columns or rows of fishes that have all the same color or all the same type. So what you see here is perfectly terrible, absolutely terrible assignment. If I had done like this, maybe I'm starting 3 different columns, and you see these little numbers there. They are the ones that you score at the end of the game if you're able to complete that column or that row there. So with individual fish, it's kind of not easy. Luckily enough, there are also actions that allow us to fish with a net, and there's some spaces on the board for that. Of course, I'm looking around and I can't see any, but that happens all the time. There you go. That's a space with a net, and then these will give you these other tiles that have 2 of the same kind. So that's a lot better. Oh, there you go. With just that one, for example, I was able to complete a column of all fish of the same type, for same color, for 3 points. Hooray for me. Other things that you can do, other rewards that you collect around the board. This space here will give you cards from this other deck, and these other cards will give you ways of scoring points at the end of the game, and you keep them face down, so there's an element of secret scoring, and that's what that space does. Very, very cool, very important. Then we have landscape panorama cards. There are 3 types of panorama, one in which you will see dolphins, and one in which you see a giant octopus, and one where you see whales. And when you get to one, say I'm stopping at the one with the whale, well, I take the top one that I don't have yet, so this is the first that I receive. If later I stop on the kind of space again, then I get the next one. And so I'm gradually creating a nice image like that, also scoring more victory points in the process, because as you can see, the numbers increase. And what else? Oh, of course, then we go fish for crustaceans. There's a push or luck element there. We can draw tokens from this pack, and we can draw up to 5. You can stop drawing at any time. You're looking for shrimp and looking maybe not for crabs, because each token from the bag is worth 1 victory point as indicated there. But if you draw two crabs, then they pinched you, they stung you, and you have to put them back. You have to put everything back. You don't get to score. So right now I could choose to just stop drawing, and score 2 victory points, or to keep drawing at the risk of drawing a second crab and losing everything, which of course is precisely what happened. Of course it is. I'm glad I was able to exemplify that for you. That action allows you to remove one of these tokens, starting from the top as we said. And yes, it feels like it's a big opportunity cost to spend a whole action, a whole turn just to remove a token. Feels anticlimactic, but there are items and advantages that will allow you to do so. Say, as you do this other thing, then you also get to remove one of those boats, penalty boats from your display, and that's probably the way to do it. This is it. The game is very simple. The game again is simple, light, beautiful, peaceful, very similar to Tokaido. Anybody who has played Tokaido probably has seen the resemblances here, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with a remake of a game which is pretty good. I don't know. I'm happy to have both in my collection because I like to have a lot of games, and I think this one is very nice. Probably I like this one a little bit better. I think it has more options, more things to do, more mini games almost. I like the mini game that you got here. It just, I don't know, it may just be subjective. Somehow I find this one more compelling than the other one, but slightly. That is to say, if I had to have only one, I would probably go for this one. But if then by mistake I buy the other one, I probably won't notice a huge difference. But I like all of these mini games and different things that you're gonna do. I like the little puzzle that you have here. As you create that grid, and I find it pretty challenging to complete anything. The landscapes, of course. I mean, the panorama, of course. The mini game here. You have all of these very simple, very light elements that bring variety. Without feeling confusing, without feeling all over the place, because each is so simple, minimal, and light. Again, there's a certain peaceful atmosphere and tone which really matches the art and the overall idea here. It's not particularly, again, aggressive game, but it may get a little bit toward the end when you realize, oh, that player needs something to complete a certain set, or they obviously are going for a certain thing. Then you may consider toward the end of the game occupy some spaces mainly for that, but it's a very minor element. That's not major. If you go out of your way just to block other people from getting stuff, you're probably going to lose anyway because you're not working on your own sets, on your scoring things. Secret scoring at the end of the game, that is always nice. I always like that because it gives you an incentive to play in a certain way, gives structure to gameplay, and there are surprises at the end of the game. So what you got here is a very light game. Definitely a great game to play with family, younger players, casual players. And a game night also as what I call the second game of the night, when people have played some really big, heavy, long Euro game early on, and there's a little bit of a smell like, what is this burn smell? Oh, it's not our brains. That's fine. That happens. So you're tired, but you still want to play one more game. And then a lighter game like this one, which still has a gamer, philosophy, still has a gamer personality. Then as the second game of the night, this would be a great option. So definitely I enjoyed Namiji. My first impressions at Gen Con are confirmed. This is a light, family-oriented, casual game, but one that also may work at game night. A beautiful game and a light, fun game.